uh, inside rotation tactical clean to an external rotation shoulder press, and repeat for 10 on each side, 5 on each side. So this video might look weird compared to my other videos, mostly because my camera is malfunctioning for whatever reason. My iPhone gives a message that says the camera is not detected as an Apple device or whatever, which is rather annoying. In any case, I'm trying out something different to make it work using the 3x zoom camera. I hope it doesn't make it look super weird though. In any case, starting off, well, today I'm going to do sled and kettlebell circuits for the most part. So starting off with reverse a sled drag and sled push. So I have 3 plates on the sled. And then pushing it back. If you guys have been watching me, you know that sled is a movement that I'm a huge fan of because it targets a lot of muscles at the same time, and it's a pretty simple way of getting your whole body working without putting too much thought into it. Then for the kettlebell portion of things, doing inside rotation tactical clean to an external rotation shoulder press, and repeat for 10 on each side. So this is a nice, fluid, rhythmic movement. So while rotating, the abs, specifically the obliques, are having to work a lot. So just in general, doing unilateral kettlebell stuff targets the core pretty well. But by adding the rotation component, you're able to target it a lot more. Plus, you teach how your body pretty rhythmically to make the movement successful. If that makes sense. In any case, for the next exercise, doing gorilla rows, so using 2 28-kilogram kettlebells and doing 10 rows on each hand. So yeah, this is what I'm starting off with. We're gonna do 5 sets. So yeah, on to the next thing. For the next set of movements, starting with a dumbbell and kettlebell complex. So for the dumbbell complex, doing something real hard dumbbell, it's not necessarily a complex, it's just an exercise. It's very similar to what I was doing with the kettlebell in the first set of movements. So I've done this movement in the past. So with a 60-pound kettlebell, or dumbbell, 60-pound dumbbell, doing an inward rotation clean, external rotation press for 5 on each side. Switching sides. So again, that act of rotating and doing the movement unilaterally requires a lot of core engagement, and then also obviously shoulders and some biceps to do the clean and the press. Then with the 28 kilogram 62-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do 5 snatches on each side. Getting some explosiveness. And then doing reverse sled and sled push to finish off. So unlike the first set where I started with sled, I'm doing the sled at the end here, because with reverse sled and sled push, I guess if your form isn't 100% accurate, there's very little to no risk of injury. The worst thing that happens is the sled moves a little off angle or just doesn't move at all. But if I did the sled and then did the dumbbell and kettlebell exercises, I might be a little pre-exhausted. And the exercises that I was doing, it requires a more, I guess, good form, because while doing the snatch or whatever, if I don't perform it with the right technique, there's a lot more risk of injury in my opinion. And so it was better to do those in the beginning than after being exhausted with the sled. In any case, doing this for 5 sets, this was my third. Then on to the next. So for the final set of things, not doing anything too complicated. Well, that's relative, but kind of similar to the previous movements I was doing. Using the 28 kilogram 62-pound kettlebell to do a tactical clean to shoulder press with a windmill for 3 on each side. So looks like this. Tactical clean, shoulder press, windmill. Lost a little bit of balance there. But see, that's an example of If I was super exhausted, that would have been a no-no. So in my previous set of exercises, I was talking about doing complicated movements, especially with the relatively heavy weights when being exhausted. So that would have been a situation in which I would have most likely been able to handle myself, but it's definitely way more risky to try and do that when I was already tired. But yeah, besides the point, let's keep going with the set. But yeah, similar to the previous set, I'm also doing the sled movement at the end instead of at the beginning. After 3 each side of that, going back to the sled, but not doing reverse sled, doing sled rows. So squatting back and rowing. So when I squat back, I'm almost like pushing the floor forward, if that makes sense. So I'm using that squat movement to help propel the weight back. And then after I make it to one end, a regular sled push back. So yeah, that's going to be the final set of movements. Doing it for like 4. And yeah, that's going to be it today. It felt like, although the number of exercises and sets were about the same as the usual workout, I was going relatively, I think, heavier. And so, like, my heart rate has been on the higher side of things. And also, my calorie count has also been on the higher side of things. So yeah, yeah, I think that'll be it. That's all for today's video. See you all tomorrow.